Everything is fine, Swamiji.
Okay. Shruti Smriti Purananamalayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad-pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Padarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Five verses in praise of the highest understanding, manīṣā, which is the same as samyak darshana, right seeing, right perception. The very title itself goes to the heart of Advaita Vedanta. For Advaita Vedanta holds that all suffering is rooted in erroneous perception. Seeing both outside and inside wrongly. Seeing the outside world and mistaking it to be independently real. We don't say it is utterly false. The outside world also is God, is Brahman. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma is a Upanishadic statement. But when we look at the outer world as independently real, when we think we come and go, the world ever is, it is completely rejected by Vedanta. Vedanta would rather say the world comes and goes. Even with respect to the three states of experience, the popular notion is we go from waking to dream to deep sleep and come back. But the right understanding of Vedanta is we don't go anywhere, we don't come from anywhere. I am. This existence that you and I are just is. And I myself appear now as the waking state. I myself appear as the dream state. And when I don't appear as waking or dream, I just am the pure self. That is the so-called Sushupti. So manīṣā-pañcakam is food for thought, is such material for contemplation, whereby our erroneous understanding is dispelled, is dismissed, leaving behind right understanding. If we imagine that we are going, we are coming, we are rising, we are falling, we are in danger, and in between for a little while, now we are okay. All this is not manīṣā. It is Brahma. It is Bhranti. Fear and the one that has fear together is a Bhranti. Therefore, someone like Maharshi Ramana asks us to examine who has fear. Naan yaar, main kaun hu. Whether it is fear or desire or regret or stress and numerous undesirable, unpleasant experiences, with respect to all of them, we must inquire. Inquiry is the golden word. Vichara. There is a saying, I think in Panchadashi, Vicharam na sahate ahankaraha. Ahankara, the ill-conceived, limited self, cannot tolerate, cannot bear, cannot stand the heat of inquiry. But ahankara is quite fortunate. Hardly anyone conducts ahankara, inquiry. It's like some highly ill-governed state where the police are sleeping, where all the authorities are sleeping. The authorities actually encourage you to be corrupt if you give them a little share of it. Then Rama Rama, that state will be completely going haywire. If the police are active, if the army is active, if the security forces are vigilant, they are alert, then corruption will not be there. Even the forest brigand, Veerappan, he survived for many years because ministers, politicians, maybe even some police officers, everybody was joining hands. They were giving him support. So, vicharam na sahate ahankara. And let me say, while re-entering manīṣā-pañcakam, this manīṣā-pañcakam can be very helpful in our inquiry. Read a line, read even a phrase, and then contemplate upon it. Really speaking, that is what all spirituality does. Bhakti Marga also. If we are doing japa, for example, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. If we really get into it, it has the power to pull us away from our egoistic suffering. But alas, mostly people either don't do any japa, any dhyana, or even when they do, they are not sincere. They are not fully into it. They just roll the beads. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Today newspaper has not come. Om Namah Shivaya. In this way, they will be allowing their mind to go here and there. Just like a loose police department, careless security guards, and so on. So let me complete this general words of introduction to this third session by saying, in all spirituality, the golden word is alertness. It's better to do 5 minutes of inquiry or japa or whatever with full alertness than drag on for 1 hour, 2 hours in the name of spiritual practice, lacking in alertness. Alert and vigilant living itself is true sadhana, it is said. So, two shlokas were the questions asked by the Chandala that morning in Kashi. Oh Dvijavara, addressing Adi Shankara as Dvijavara, the best among Brahmins. Oh Dvijavara, you are saying Gacha, Gacha. Are you asking the Annamaya Atma to go away? In which case it is meaningless. You are also Annamaya. This is also Annamaya. What difference does it make if two bundles of carbon, phosphorus, hydrogen, etc. are close or far? Both are alike. It's like in the United States, a white man once approached a brown person, maybe from India. Where are you from? From which country are you? And Indian American, that is somebody who had gone from here or whose parents or grandparents had gone. And he said, where are you from? That other guy said, white man said, I'm from USA. He said, I'm also from USA. Then that white man said, no, no, what I mean is, referring to the brown skin. What I mean is, your parents, where did they come from? He said, I will definitely answer you, but tell me where your parents came from. The white man said, my parents also were from USA only, but my grandparents came from Holland. Then this man said, same is the case with me. My parents also were from America only, but my grandparents came from India. And then that man understood this is not an easy case. When the white Americans and the browns or blacks both have come to the North American continent some 3 generations, 4 generations, or 5 generations ago, why make a difference? In fact, when Donald Trump raised a big issue that these immigrants are causing disturbance, this matter came up in a big way. Everybody said, first define who are the immigrants. And if Donald Trump, who won the elections that time, had said, anyone whose original let's say ancestors were not from North America, have to go back or something. Only Native Americans, whom they wrongly called Red Indians, whom they wrongly called Indians. Then they called us, we are the real Indians. We were called East Indians. There is only one India actually. But we were called East Indians, then Trinidad, Jamaica, Barbados, all of them were called West India, West Indies, all misnomers. So without going to more, not that we know more, as a parallel, if Trump says immigrants should leave, he should first leave. His own great-grandfather must have come from England or France or Holland or Italy. Like that, Chandala says, if you are asking this Annamaya Atma to go away, looking at this Annamaya Kosha of mine as not clean or not pure, then sorry to say, that Annamaya Atma where you are appearing is also of the same. If you are saying Chaitanya should go, you too are Chaitanya. And then more powerfully, in the second verse we saw, which was also the question by Chandala, he gave two powerful illustrations which are very much central to the two schools of Advaita Vedanta, set in motion by Padmapada, the direct disciple of Shankaracharya, and Vachaspati Mishra, a great scholar of North India, both of whom wrote scholarly commentaries on the commentary of Adi Shankaracharya on Brahma Sutra. The two illustrations very central to their development of thought are Pratibimbavada and Avachedavada. The sun reflected in a bucket of water may seem to be breaking into pieces, may seem to be shaking, may seem to be a little dull, not so bright, but that is not this real sun. The real sun is above in the sky. Don't mistake the Pratibimba to be the Bimba, to be the real one. Like that, the fundamental error of you and me in real life is we mistake this personality, its success, its failure, not only in mundane matters, business, marriage, some other enterprise, etc., but also on the path of spiritual sadhana. We mistake the personality to be us. You must have heard of the story. Somebody stayed for 10 days in Ramanashram, thoroughly enjoyed, but on the last day, while taking leave of Maharshi Ramana, he was looking a little depressed. Maharshi asked him, "How come you look a bit depressed?" He said, "Swami, I am very blessed to get this opportunity to spend 10 days at this ashram, but yes, today I am a little sad because I have to leave and because I somehow think that I have not changed. I have a long way to go. I have not changed. How I wish I changed to an enlightened man. I am still an ignorant jiva." Then Maharshi said, like there is a saying, adding insult to injury. Or in Kannada, we say, ಗಾಯಕ್ಕೆ ಉಪ್ಪು ಹಾಕಿದ ಹಾಗೆ. ಗಾಯದ ಮೇಲೆ ಉಪ್ಪು ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸುರಿಯುತ್ತೆ. आप क्या बोलते हैं, जख्म हुए हैं, घाव, घाव पर नमक डालना, it burns. Maharshi said to that man, you never change. He was sad that he was not changing. You never change. Luckily for that man, there were some scholars also around. One of the scholars called him to the side and said, you are so blessed. Please do not misunderstand Maharshi's words. You never change. He is looking at you as the changeless, pure self. Then he said, oh, then I am doubly blessed. Please do not identify with the personality. This, is easier said than done. You and I, every day, judge ourselves. Today I got up late. Oh, I am lazy. Another day, my mind wandered. I don't know when my meditation will improve. We are constantly judging ourselves. But when we get Vedantically mature, one thing that happens is we do not jump to a conclusion. Even if we notice the mind wandered, even if one morning we notice we are getting vulgar thoughts, violent thoughts, negative thoughts, dirty thoughts, if we are a mature spiritual seeker, maybe there is a pinch of sadness, but we would not allow it to grow. We just notice, oh, this mind today, but that should not matter. Vedanta has said whether the mind is in riot or peaceful, I am the same. The sun up in the sky is the same, whether the reflection in the bucket of water is splitting into pieces, he is shaking, he is dull. So what? Makes no difference to the sun. So the Chandala said, whether the sun is reflected in Ganga water, holy water of Ganga, or in some dirty water in a slum area, is the sun affected? Is the sun different who is reflected? In the same way, using that Avachedavada of the other major school, Chandala says, the space covered by a gold pot and the space covered by an earthen pot, are they different? These are examples. Then he says, why are you so concerned with Brahmana Sharira and Chandala Sharira, saying to me, go, go? And Adi Shankara, before even he heard all those words, sensed that here is some extraordinary being. Though he appears like a Chandala, he is extraordinary, he is a divine person. The response of Adi Shankara that fine morning in 5 verses has come to us as manīṣā-pañcakam. We saw 2 verses. In the first verse, Shankara says that samvit, that pure consciousness which shines unmistakably in waking dream and deep sleep, is the truth of our existence. And anybody, Chandala or Vipra, who knows the truth of his existence, pure consciousness, is my Guru. Leave alone saying Gacha Gacha. I rather bow down before him, taking him to be my Guru. Chandalostu satu dvijostu saha guruhu iti esha manīṣā mama. That 4th line repeats, in the second verse also of the main body. In the second verse, he emphasizes how the right jnana, samyak jnanam, samyak darshanam, is marked by constantly realizing that the world of names and forms is not true. Because we take the world of names and forms as true, certain things excite us, certain things depress us, certain things scare us, certain things bore us. We go through so many ups and downs, all because we, in the first place, take this world of names and forms as real. If you have seen any play, you have, of course, you have seen many plays, Nataka. In the Nataka, somebody could be Krishna Devaraya, the emperor of Vijayanagara Empire. But the actor knows that I am only acting. Even though he knows he is not Krishna Devaraya, he is not King Krishna Devaraya, every moment he says what needs to be said. He raises his sword, he fights with enemies, he sits on the throne, he sits in a royal posture. All audience is appreciating him. Swami Chinmayananji would add a line. All in the audience admire him except his wife in the front row. She says, "Oh, there you are doing all this. I know you." So Swamiji had to, Chinmayananji had all this kind of humor. So the actor, so was Tenali Rama, so were other scholars and others in the play. All of them know. You and I have to learn that kind of acting. Brahma eva aham jagat maya kalpitam, and it is avidyaya maya kalpitam. Jagat is chinmatra vistaritam, pure consciousness itself. That chair is pure consciousness, Chaitanya in the form of a chair. This desk is pure, it extends itself in the form of objects, people, places, events, and so on. And the third line brings it to the point. Whoever has such mati, whoever has such clear understanding, let that person be in Chandala's body or Vipra body. Chandalostu satu dvijostu dvijaha astu saha mama guruhu. He is my teacher. Iti esha manīṣā-pañcakam. As we commented before also, in these two verses, we find Adi Shankara's 100% flexibility. When he recognizes something as true, he instantly accepts it. There is no delay. In the case of egoistic people, there is delay. They do not want to accept somebody else's opinion. They very much insist that their opinion be true. My way is true. Do it my way or hit the highway, some saying. They don't tolerate others' views. We continue, and perhaps the next verse is the most poetic verse in the entire manīṣā-pañcakam, both in terms of poetry and in terms of certain persuasive force. The words in this third verse. If you take Pañcakam, Shankaracharya's answer as consisting of 5, this is the third. If you include the 2 verses which came as questions, This is add just 2. It is the 5th verse. We read the 3rd. Shashvannashwarameva vishwamakhilam nischitya vacha guroh nityam brahma nirantaram vimrishata nirvyaja shantatmana bhutam bhavicha dushkritam pradahata samvinmaye pavake prarabdhaya samarpitam swavapuhu ityesha manīṣā mama. Here Adi Shankaracharya talks about again that manīṣā, that higher understanding, which is poles apart from the worldly understanding. Even those who have won Nobel Prizes, Oscar Awards, Grammy Awards, Jnanapeeth or Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan, Bharata Ratna, Khel Ratna, in sports also we have Wimbledon and so many. The so-called high achievers, the so-called celebrities, if you go close to them, they are not free from fear. You'll realize, you will see, they have their own worries. They have their own regrets. Why? They lack spiritual maturity. Spiritual maturity alone gives peace. If we want peace, earlier the better, we must go for spiritual clarity. Whether we continue in some role playing or walk away to live in an ashram, to take sannyas, etc., is a different issue. Some may do it, some may not do it. Whether you go away like that or not, if you want peace of mind, if you want to be in a certain absence of agitations, there is no other answer than spiritual maturity. But in our foolishness, we postpone gaining spiritual clarity. We go after passing pleasures of the world. Therefore, Acharya Shankara says, Nashwara itself means perishable. Nashwara, dying, decaying. Shashwat Nashwara. Things of the world are always perishable. Because that's another delusion you and I have. We think that, in olden days, probably pleasures used to be fleeting. But thanks to modern technology, we have lasting pleasure. Very durable. Nowadays, all equipment lasts longer. They consume less energy. We think, which is another delusion. In fact, to be frank, after about a year after I went to USA for the first time, some fan stopped working in our ashram there. And I was so surprised. There was one engineer in the class, a Kashmiri Pandit. He was working for Hewlett Packard or so, very learned engineer. I said to him, Do fans stop working in America also? He said, he laughed, Swamiji, what are you asking? In America also fans break down, lights do not work. In America also power fails. Everything that fails in India fails in America too. Relationships fail. You know, there are scandals. There are mega scandals in America. Some 15 years ago, there was a lady in Silicon Valley, California, San Jose. Elizabeth, what was her name? Pharmaceutical, Elizabeth. Holmes, correct. Holmes, Holmes. Elizabeth Holmes, yeah, one of the biggest deceits. She claimed that she had made one little equipment which one blood sample and it will tell you so many results. You don't have to go several hours into pathology labs and all this. She created one equipment and made such wonderful publicity, and she made the whole world believe, and the amount of deceit was of a very high order. And she was pretty and young that time, maybe the 32, 33 at that time. She used to wear dress like Steve Jobs, some turtleneck, some kind of sweater like thing or a pullover. And she would walk with chest up. And right in Silicon Valley, she made Terranos or Ferranos? Terranos. So she was on front page of Time magazine, front page of so many other great magazines. She was invited by President of USA for a dinner or something, and she traveled like a celebrity. Then somewhere people started suspecting, and they tested. Actually, it was not working. It was a hoax, big hoax. So we say India there is corruption, India there is humbug, India there is everybody tells lies. It's not so true. The kind of corruption is different. Corruption, deceit, etc. takes place on some levels. Yeah, day to day maybe it very neat. Lot of things, buying property, selling property, renting out. Sort of. I don't have to give a long commentary. There are some good sides, no doubt. But human selfishness, the tendency to gain something for oneself, even at the cost of somebody's suffering, is rampant there, sometimes in more dangerous ways than in developing countries. A Harvard graduate or a Stanford graduate with a lot of competence, skill, intelligence may do something which is more devastating than somebody in the developing countries. There are so many examples. So Shashwan Nashwaram, go wherever you want to, any part of the world. Shashwat is time-wise always. Shashwat means Shashwata, always. Add place-wise also. All the time and all the places. England or America, uh, Australia or Africa, anywhere. Nashwaram. You cannot hold something outside and say, I got this. I got such a good life companion. Now I can relax. No. I got the best house, whatever, all those things. Shashwan Nashwaram Eva Akhilam Vishwam Nischitya. Having thus determined, you and I should ask a question to ourselves. Have we done this Nischaya? Nischitya. Have we decided? We understand the sentence. We can even give a lecture on it as I am doing now. But when some prospect of getting another piece of land, getting something You know, some offer comes to us, so much amount will be credited to your account, and the proposal seems to be free of any hoax, any. Then one young lady once walked into a house where I was sitting with some people, and she started talking big philosophy. She said, does anybody while dying take even 1 square foot of land with them? Young lady, 35, 36, she had come with her little child. And we were all hearing her. She was talking like an orator. And my host, Neelam, said, yes, 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 Betty. She is saying to all of us, we're all elders. My hosts were elderly, I was elderly. But this young lady is talking like a big philosopher. Just went on saying, people are so attached to land. Brothers fight between them for land. Does anybody take even one small piece of land when they die? Now, Sudarshan Sharma is a little hot-tempered man. He was listening. She was perhaps his own niece or something. He said, 1 minute, stop. So that lady stopped. You are talking so much that we should not be attached to land. If you really are not attached to land, can you give half an acre of your land to Swamiji? Now. She just kept quiet and then changed the topic. You are criticizing people who fight and saying, do they take it with them when they die? That means you should not be bothered about land. You should not be bothered about property. You should not be, if you have a gold bangle, you should not be bothered. Somebody asks, you should say, okay, take it. That's what she was trying to say. So Sudarshan Sharma caught her red-handed. You know. He knew she perhaps had some acres of land. Can you give half an acre of land to donate to Swamiji today? She did not take it. Leave alone giving half an hour. If Swamiji were to get her some land, she would say, Aapki kripa, bahut meherbani, or something she would say. So that is how Nishchitya, Sarvam Nashwaram iti Nishchitya. And all these are good food for contemplation. How under the sun can we do that Nishchaya? Drida Nishchaya. Vacha Guroho. If you are truly devoted to your Guru, then Gurus have been saying this. Guroho Vacha. By the power, by the strength of the Sadguru who says to you, do not be attached. If you go by that, you will get that ability. But when the mind is impure, we put everything that the Gurus say in the head and do not allow it to come down at all. It will be only in the head, intellectual, for talking, for writing an article, for giving a lecture, etc., or to find fault with somebody, and so on. Nityam Brahma Nirantaram Vimrishata. So please note, these shlokas are very helpful for sadhana. On one hand, can we day after day take a position? I will do my duty. I will not act irresponsibly, but personally, I don't want to be attached with anything. In the name of Vairagya, we should not act irresponsibly. Suppose I am the father of 3 children and I have studied Vedanta and I what land, what I have to write a will. Or some people don't write will also. That is also in a way irresponsible. Later on, the children fight, which is not good. Anyway, I don't want to go into those details. But I just, I have one big house in the city, 3 crores worth, and a small house in the village, only 50 lakhs worth. You see, I am giving a house each. So I give the 3 crores worth to one son at random, And 50 lakhs worth, another daughter else at random. And the third one, I just give him a hug. I love you the most. Okay. So, Vairagya. No. Vairagya doesn't mean you do things in a haphazard manner. Without any personal attachment, sit down one morning and look at them, and on some proper reason, not that it should be equal, that is all too much. In proper reason, maybe talk to them also. Do you mind if I give the big house to that person? Or whatever, in a dialogue, discussion, and so on. Other day, the four of us who came here, watched a movie, not movie, play on Ahalya by Holkar. Wonderful Kannada play. It was enacted and presented at Suvarnamukhi Samskriti Dham. Kumar, Renu, Vibha, and I were there. Towards the end, she decides to get her daughter, Rani Ahalya of Indore. She gets her daughter married to somebody of much lower caste, right? And everybody advises her against that. See, you may look at all castes equal, but the society will rebel against you, etc., etc. Even the boy who was standing there, who also says, Maharani, it is nice of you to think of me as a candidate to be your son-in-law. But Maharani, society will not accept us, and I do not know the repercussions. Therefore, kindly excuse me. Please find a suitable groom for your daughter. But she, at least in that play, it is shown like that. She says, what caste, what division? And she says, I have been watching you for many years. You are so good in character, so heroic, so just. Therefore, I see guna and not jati, something she says. Now, the part I'm quoting is, she doesn't go ahead. There is a 30 seconds dialogue there, which is she just asks the daughter who is standing next, lovingly, whatever her name was, some Nagaratna, let us say, Nagaratna, do you mind marrying this? He was an army officer, you know, just because he is of low caste, do you want to avoid? And she just says, no, my mother, you have chosen the right person for me. And she was known for social reforms. She was known for renovating so many Hindu temples. Kashi Vishwanath temple had no Shivalinga and no worship for 99 years after Aurangzeb had destroyed. 99 years, no worship, no Shivalinga at all, because the original Shivalinga was put into a well, Nanavapi. It was Ahalya by Holkar who wanted to take that linga out from that well. Then it is said Lord Shiva appeared in her dream and said, Ahalya, don't take that linga. Go to Narma river tomorrow morning for taking a bath. You will find another wonderful, nice Shivalinga there. You will just find it. And she goes with her Sakhis, she goes for taking bath there, and she sees a Shivalinga. And that is what is put. Today, when you go and have Kashi Vishwanatha Darshana, this Shivalinga today is the one that Ahalya Holkar had installed, Puna Pratishtapana of a new Shivalinga. And the old one, they say, is in Dhanavapi, and we can take the Tirtha of Dhanavapi even today. Then the Gyanavapi mosque is different, that controversial mosque. It's also named Gyanavapi mosque. But there is a Gyanavapi, Dhanavapi, Vapi is well. You can take the Tirtha from there. One Pandit is one Archaka is sitting always there. So see that uh, dharma. She asked the daughter, and with consent of daughter. So Vairagya does not mean you and I, if you are not good in administration, don't take administration. But if you take administration, you will have to do justice. That is how it goes. Whatever duties you take, you have to perform well. If you cannot, okay, two or three mistakes you made, then decide either whether to continue or not. Either organize yourself. So, Brahma Vidya is in no way, a green signal for some erratic. You should understand money and power, etc., are ephemeral. First line. On the other, we have to constantly connect our mind, apply our mind to Brahma. Nityam Brahma Vimrashata. By a person, this Vimrashata, grammar wise, it's a third case singular. By somebody, Purushena, Vimrashata Purushena. Brahma Vimrashata. Vimarsha is contemplation here. The qualities of Brahma, nature of Brahma. So all that is inquiry, vichara. And one has to do this Atma Vichara not with agitated mind, but with Nirvyaja. Nirvyaja means pure, and Shanta is relatively calm. It was, I think, in a work called Vakya Vritti that there was an expression, describing the student. A certain student, much agitated, approached his teacher with a calm mind and asked the question. The translation first will look contradictory. Much agitated. You imagine he is agitated. The very next expression is he approached the teacher with a calm mind. What is this? It's like saying an old man, coated, booted, suited, was walking that afternoon totally naked. First you say coated, booted, suited. Then you say totally naked, he is walking in the afternoon sun. Either he is naked or he is wearing dress. Either you are Shanta or you are Udvigna. How can you be both Udvigna and Shanta? So the sexual expression I do not remember, but at first time we read this one, Vakya Vritti, which is some 54 verses just to elaborate Tattvamasi. Nice work. So there, the idea is, he is agitated about the world. No selfish agitations, but the world being unreliable, world being nashwaram, and everything being undependable. So he is udvigna in that sense. But at the same time, that udvignata is not of such kind that makes him go haywire, go berserk. That very agitation that this is not right. This cannot give me happiness. I don't want to get into this, etc. That's an udvignata. But he goes a little further. I now need to know the truth. And when it is a matter of learning, receiving truth, he is fully geared. That way, Arjuna, who was agitated in one sense, Arjuna Vishada Yoga, certainly listened to Sri Krishna with all attention. You and I also sometimes are, in one sense, agitated. For example, a mother is agitated that her son comes home after 2 or 3 days, has not eaten anything. Did you take food? No, Amma. Did you drink something? No, Amma. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. I think I'm going to fall now. The mother will be very agitated. But the love that the mother has for her son will empower her to go to the kitchen. She takes a deep breath. She says, my God, nothing is ready, but I'll make first some poha, some upma for him. I'll give him a nice, some buttermilk. I'll give him a glass of buttermilk and some upma. So while making that upma, she won't be agitated. She won't put wrong things. She will be very, a scientist who is facing a burning question in his mind. We say a burning question. But in his laboratory, he will be working on some experiment with all calmness. In that way, a Vedanta student, he is a mumukshu. He is very disturbed by the impermanence of the entire world. Anything you touch, it doesn't stay for long. Yes, but because of the purity of his or her mind, she or he is very receptive. Therefore, nirvyaja shantatma. And the poetic beauty comes here. Bhutam bhavicha dushkritam. Whatever had happened, bhutam, and whatever may happen. Sometimes certain things are predetermined. We would be knowingly or unknowingly making a big, blunder. There was a young lady who was first in Muktananda Ashram, Ganeshpuri. She was operating among her voluntary duties. She was operating some lift. And actually, what happened was one day she was a bit careless, and one little child got stuck in the door of the lift, and that child died. Maybe her management and Guru Muktananda was alive that time. Swami Muktananda and others probably also scolded her, or otherwise also she was so filled with guilt and shame and agitation. She continued for some time there, but then could not stay anymore. She went back to her house in Bombay. Maybe 1 or 2 years she just was suffering from that guilt. Because of me, a little child in front of my eyes died. Then slowly she gathered courage and joined one of the brahmachari courses in Chinmaya Mission. Even today she is a Swamini conducting classes and so on. But when she first came and met some of us senior Swamis, she said, I have committed a sin and so on. So Bhutam is not easy to get out of memories. More than memories, the conclusions. One is the memory of that child getting stuck and dying. Another is the conclusion. I caused the death of this child. I was so irresponsible. I don't know what punishment should come to me, etc. Not easy to get out of it. But the shloka says, Bhutam, whatever Dushkritam had done in the past, Bhavi, is Bhavishyat. And all of that is to be put into the Pavaka. Pavaka means fire. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha. Literally, pavaka means the purifier. Pavana, pavanam karoti, pavayati. Punati means, punati also means purifying, and pavayati is the causal form of it, yet another. Purifies, makes something pure, pavaka, fire. And here fire is a metaphor. Samvinmaye pavaki. In the fire of pure wisdom. Pure wisdom, we may not believe, has the capacity to completely erase all sorrow, all guilt, all pride also. Generally, we carry pride over right things we had done. And we carry shame over wrong things that we had done. All that is like a dream only. One can rise above them. One can come to a certain state of wisdom, state of understanding. That is the manīṣā being talked of. where neither of them. That's what in Taittiriya we have the line. You know, Kimahagam papam akaravam iti, kimaham sadhu nakaravam. Sadhu, good things. Oh, sadhu na akaravam. Did I not do some good things? We have worries. Kim papam akaravam. Did I do wrong things? And both of them do not affect an enlightened person. For he has identified now with the Atma. And being identified with the Atma, both sadhu, that is punya, and papam, punya and papa do not affect him at all. Who doesn't want that kind of state? And that state is not available for multi-billionaires. Sitting on a huge heap of wealth, their bosom is not free from guilt, shame, pride, envy, etc. Therefore, it is tuchha. Tuchha means, despicable. Tuchha means something that you say, I don't want. So, wealth is actually tuchha. But in our spiritual ignorance, some felicitation somewhere, expression by this person who burns away all the residues. Events happened long back. Some happy events, some sad events, some meritorious events, some sinful events happen. They leave behind a residue. Like if you put garlic in some little bottle for a long time and then you remove the garlic, you smell it, there will be garlic smell. Leave alone garlic. I made a mistake 10 days back. I had a little bottle where I had put some surf powder. I carry some surf powder when I travel. I removed it all, transferred it. I washed it 3 times with water. Then with the cloth I wiped it, put it in the open for some time, and then put some, there are some ginger chocolates. It's not chocolate, some ginger things, it's for good for throat. And nowadays I take 1 or 2 every day for throat. But every time I take one, I get the distinct smell of surf soap powder. I think I'm not going to take any more because it may affect my. Or do you think surf may clean up my throat? Surf advertisement says everything it cleans. I better not continue. Or maybe I should transfer it. It should not be in that bottle. So leave alone garlic, surf powder itself, even after washing it with water several times, smell doesn't go. Like that, I might have done something very foolish at the age 15, at the age 27, at the age 43. Many years have passed, but this residue remains generally. But Vedanta can make it all vanish. Vedanta can, not just bookish knowledge, not knowing shlokas and mantras, which is a good step. Never insult. Scholarship should not be insulted. But if anybody imagines that scholarship will take him to realization by itself, the opposite can happen. Because of scholarship, one's ahankara may increase, ego may increase. I know the whole shloka and Shira, the missed out the third line. Better like that, right? So scholarship has a place. It's good to know so that at the right time you remember the right thing, and then there is a chance of your acting upon the right course, though there is no guarantee. One person may remember all the Gita shlokas. What is that? Yehi samsparshaja bhogaha dukkhayonaya evate adhyantavantaha kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. Things that have a beginning and end, sense pleasures, finally they give sorrow only. Therefore, a wise person does not get attached to them. I may remember that shloka, but when there are some delicious sweets in front of me, I may take one reciting that shloka. Nateshwara mate buddha. Second, Nateshwara mate buddha. Third, Ram Ram. Because knowing a shloka by heart does not guarantee. However, after some more lessons that life teaches us, the same shloka may prevent. The shloka will help at a later time when we have suffered and learned enough. The same shloka, because it is the truth. Indriya bhogeshu buddha na ramate. So how nicely, samvinmaye pavake, this person has put everything into it. His antakarana shines brilliantly with no shadow of the past. Functional memory remains, as I already clarified. Not that his brain has been subjected to some surgery and all memory is removed. No, no. That's who the surgery can remove memory totally. There was somebody who used to get very angry. This was a old story in 1960s or so. Then some surgery was made, front lobe or something was removed. He was never getting angry thereafter. His wife and children were said, Papa used to get so angry. Now he doesn't get angry. But within a couple of days, they saw that along with anger, a lot of other sensitivity and sensibility also went out with that surgery. His son brought his marks card. Papa, I have stood first in the class. He looked at it and no expression. His wife prepared some dish which was always dear to him. He ate like a robot, and he did not express love, affection, caring, and so many human qualities. All of them went up. Then some countries actually banned that surgery, front lobectomy or some such name. Front lobe, huh? Frontal lobe removal. Then they banned it because man's anger may go, but like that idiom, throwing the baby along with the bath water. But Vedanta can remove anger. Vedanta can remove lust, greed, jealousy, regrets, shame. And number one, it doesn't take away your sense of responsibility, care. Number two, in fact, it enhances. You will be able to care better. You will be able to care for people on a deeper level. Earlier also, if you are the father of the family, you are taking them to movies, taking them to ice cream parlor, taking them here. You are caring. You are a caring father, caring husband, everything. But now you will take care of them much better rather than just entertainment, fun, and spending for whatever they want. You will be able to guide them, show them love, and the whole thing. There is something called mature love, mature caring, and there is the immature caring, which is sometimes dangerous, harmful. Prarabdhaya samarpitam swapuhu iti. Then, how does such a person, man or woman, go through life once this Manisha has risen? Constantly she remembers that this is prarabdha. I was honored over there, that is also prarabdha. I was insulted over here, that is also prarabdha. Certain things were set in motion, and better not. I better not, get into struggle with it. Let let it happen. Of course, that doesn't mean once more any responsibility. We do our little bit. Suppose we come to know that if you go in that direction, there are some people standing with sticks, and whoever comes, they will beat. then we don't say, if it is my prarabdha. When there is a choice, sometimes there is no choice. Then wise saints also have said, it's my prarabdha. Because they didn't have choice or they didn't have information, they did not know something terrible happened, they said. But if you have information and you have the choice, you instead of this road, you go that way, then you do it. So prarabdha again should not be mistaken. Prarabdhaya samarpitam swavapuhu iti esha manīṣā mama. This is the so in the process, Shankara has described that state of consciousness, cleansed of erroneous perception at the base of it all, cleansed of hundreds of disorderly thinking, disorderly behavior, disorderly perception. So a lot of our emotions are so disorderly. While talking, while responding, while reacting, we make mistakes. Sometimes we cannot control emotions at all. We behave in a way which is a little out of place. When something excites us, so we then become insensitive to others. We are so fond of something and we just remain there. So all that is cleansed. Avidya is the root cause. When avidya is removed, then so many other expressions of all that will also be removed. In other words, as let me say this and conclude, in Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, in the context of Samadhi, it is said that someone who experiences Nirvikalpa Samadhi time and again becomes, or the Samadhi for him becomes Dharma Megha. Expression Dharma Megha. A cloud that pours down Dharma. Wherever you go, you will be like a Dharma Megha. That is, a cloud gives water and you give Dharma. You do right things, you say right things, you speak right things. You do not either get partial for somebody or get partial against somebody. The so-called prejudices of many kinds. All of them leave your bosom in a spontaneous way, sometimes without even having to think much, you will do the right thing. All of us seek that more than mere rupees or dollars in our bank account, more than, in fact, more than even physical health, if you think about it. Health is of great value, but this being anchored in Dharma is of much greater value. Thus, this is all about the right understanding, the transformation of the human personality in the light of spiritual wisdom. Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Today, if there are questions on the YouTube, which Vibhaji will transfer on to the little box on my screen. I am on Zoom, I am not on YouTube, but it's copied and pasted over here. So let me see. Okay. No questions so far. Pranam, Hari Om, Pranam. One message was retracted. Okay. Pranam, Hari Om, and Pranam. So somebody may be keying in. Well, wait for a minute if there is a question. Meanwhile, there are some 10 of them here. Any question, kindly ask. So here we find a few people online. We have only one verse left now. One verse left? Oh, two verses. Two. Correct. So Vyaja has many meanings. So you asked, let me tell you. If you go for kosha.sanskrit, there is a wonderful online dictionary, kosha.sanskrit.com, not org, kosha.sanskrit.today. This is a website. Today. Ivattu. Kosha.sanskrit.today, like India today. So I'm going to put this Vyaja. Okay, Vyaja. Vyaja perhaps means a hidden motive, a certain thing you want to get and so on. When pure mind doesn't want anything from you, pure mind is without selfish expectation. See, Vyaja can mean deceit. Vyaja means fraud. Vyaja is craft. So crafty. Some people are crafty means very clever. They praise you, but they have some motive behind it. Cunning. There you go. Then Vyaja is disguise, either of purpose or person. Person may disguise himself, or the person disguises his purpose. You know. So let's say some Somashekar comes to you, but you won't recognize him. That is, person himself is disguised. But you say, you see Somashekar, oh Somashekar, or Bani, Kutkoli, you ask Somashekar. This is Somashekar, my distant cousin, something. Then he says, I came to know of your achievements, I came to congratulate you, etc. Then you slowly realize he is disguising it. His actual purpose is he wants some financial help, let us say. So that's what the dictionary says, online dictionary. Disguise of purpose or disguise of person. Third is wickedness. Etymology is given V plus aj and ganj pratyaya. Yeah, so you take vyaja means deceit. Yeah. And nirvyaja is free of deceit. Nirmala. Nirmalamana. Nirvaja shantatmana. Easier said than.
To what are these sadhanas that can be used to, say, burn the past, whatever issues,
Correct.
outcome issues like states.
True. What are the sadhanas? Yeah, we are all pretty much in the same boat, but with some differences. We have to do the right package for ourselves. We have to first understand our personality by trial and error. Do some bhakti. And if you find that in bhakti, the negative thoughts take a back seat and you are able to feel very happy, peaceful, then increase your bhakti sadhana. Do 3 or 4 on a regular basis. 20 minutes of asana pranayama, 20 minutes of japa, puja, 20 minutes of some well presented Vedanta, audio, video, text. These days you have a lot of sources. And 20 minutes in a manner of saying, of helping somebody. Sometimes it could be just even a phone call. You know that somebody is feeling low and lonely. Somebody in your circle of friends. You just make a call. She or he asks, what happened? Why did you call after a long time? No, I just remembered you. How are you doing? Your 2-3 minutes call will mean a lot to that person because last 10 days nobody called him or her. That's also paropakara. Karma yoga, paropakara, doesn't have to be a blood donation camp or don't have to wait for a drought relief and flood relief, etc. There are in this world, unfortunately, with all this science and technology, there are so many people who feel so left out. Some of them are sick also. And the society is pretty cruel because they are sick, because they can't do anything for you, people leave them. No inquiry also. So to such people, even on phone, or if you and I can go visit and give them a basket of fruits, It's all karma yoga. Uh, so there are so many sadhanas. Make a list of sadhanas you have come to know through all these years and do all of them, a little here, little there. You will definitely find what are the sadhanas which go touch your heart very deeply, right? Then reduce the list. We should not try to do too many things because there is no time for all those things. Reduce things. And if I may, in a manner of saying, express it this way, in time management, there is a formula, MTH. MTH means magical 3 hours. There is a formula as applicable to corporate or professional life. And no matter what responsibilities you have, all these errands and meeting the formalities, keep 3 hours, magical 3 hours. In those 3 hours, go by the list you have made. These are the things I need to do. Do them only. Don't check WhatsApp messages there, etc. That's the one time management formula. Apply that to spirituality also. Out of 24 hours, with all your strength, guard 3 hours for those selected sadhanas. So, which sadhanas help? All the sadhanas have the capacity. But which work best for you? The tailor-made package for yourself, you have to find out for yourself. All of them do everything actually. Some people just through yoga, asana, pranayama have freed themselves from negative memories and negative emotions, etc. Because when you do them, you see that yes, it works. But some of us may not be cut out for much yogasana. Somehow we don't feel at home. So we may have to do, we may be jnana yogis. So we go for very careful study. Sometimes if study gets boring, because all the gurus say the same thing. Everyone says you are Brahman. Sometimes you wish at least what? Nobody says you are a tree. You are a Brahman. So sometimes you may get bored. Then that is when discussion. Discuss with friends. Sometimes group discussions also are boring. Or what happens in a group discussion is one dominating person drags it in his own direction. He doesn't let anybody else talk. Then you say, Prarabdhaya Samarpitam. Then you, in that group, there is a pious, nice person who is not allowed to talk by this dominating person. You build a bridge separately with that lady or person and discuss some of the issues. And that's what association. Associate with people, even one or two people on a regular basis, who understand your issues also, who have like nirvyaja, who have no hidden purpose. They share with you their opinion. Sometimes the opinion that they give you is something you already knew. But when it comes from her or him, some pious person, it makes a difference. It on one hand, it confirms you thought as much. On the other, just because it has been said by this lady whom you respect, you think she is such a balanced woman. She said to you, this you must do, this is how we solve this problem. Then, in addition to confirmation, it gathers certain weight. So when books bore you, YouTube videos bore you, then nothing like human touch. Come and spend time in a place like this. And the natural surroundings, a certain simplicity. This simple place can bless you spiritually much more than a 5-star hotel, of course. 5-star hotels distract, make us more attached to some pleasures and comforts and all artificial things. Those very, very, what do you call, landscape, if it is too much landscaping also is artificial. So things should be left like this. Some, too much of man-made things. As far as things are very natural, God-made, nature-made, they have a healthy influence on us. That's why a lot of people in the West say, we are in a gold cage. It's a cage made of gold. ಚಿನ್ನದ ಪಂಜರದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ ಬಟ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. Okay, now also no other question. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om.